Creating a lunar eclipse telephoto composite. This tutorial will take you through the image processing steps needed to create a lunar eclipse time-lapse composite like this. For more on lunar eclipse photo tips, look for the video How to Photograph a Lunar Eclipse on the AAA YouTube channel. This example will discuss composites done with a telephoto lens on a tripod. The composite and image processing is done in Photoshop. With a digital camera, you can shoot a series of images during the eclipse, then combine them later to create your sequence. During this lunar eclipse on September 27 to 28, 2015, I programmed the interval timer in the camera to take a frame every minute. For this video, to simplify the procedure, I selected frames at about 15-minute intervals. On these telephoto composites, I like to select the best of the total phase and have that as the center image. Put all the selected frames into a separate folder to make it easy to work. You should be shooting in the RAW setting on your camera for maximum quality. Inspect your files and make any adjustments to the brightness of the moon in Camera Raw or Lightroom so the partial phases look consistent from frame to frame. I've made adjustments on the frames here in Camera Raw. Open all the frames in Photoshop by selecting all of them and click Open. Each frame will open separately in Photoshop. Select an open file and look at the pixel dimensions, seen here in the lower left-hand corner of the Photoshop window. You'll need these numbers for the next step. You'll need to create a canvas on which to place the moon images. Go to File and New. Take the long dimension of your camera file, in this case 7,360 pixels, and multiply by 3. We'll round down and say 22,000. Make sure the units are in pixels and put that number in the width window. Take the short dimension, 4,912, and multiply it by 2. We'll round up and say 10,000. Put that number in the height window. The default settings are resolution 300, pixels per inch, RGB color, and 8-bit. Choose black as the background contents. Then click Create. That will make a long horizontal blank canvas where you will place the moon images. It may be larger than the space you will need, but you can always crop the final image. This process uses the copy and paste commands to create the composite. Start with the fully eclipsed moon, since it will be in the center of the composite. Since there may be stars in the frame that won't extend the full length of the final composite, you can use the Object Selection tool over on the toolbar to select just the eclipsed moon. Copy that selected part of the image by going to Edit, Copy, or the Control or Command key and the C key. Select the blank canvas and go to Edit, Paste, or Control Command V. It may be placed at the center of the frame, and if it looks good, you won't have to do anything in terms of moving the image around. Go to the Move tool, click on your layer, and you could either move it with the mouse or with the arrow keys, left, right, up, or down. Otherwise, you could just leave it in the center like that. As you're doing each image, cutting and pasting, it will create a layer. If you go to the lower right-hand corner of this of the Photoshop desktop, you'll see my layers window is open. Layer 1 is the totally eclipsed moon. background will be the black background. Next, start with the partial phases that are closest to totality. Since the backgrounds are black, you can select the whole image by going to Select All or Control-Command-A. Copy that image and paste it on the canvas. It may be placed at the center of the frame over the fully eclipsed moon. In the Layers box, go to the pull-down menu that says Normal and select Lighten. You'll be able to see the second partial phase basically superimposed over the total phase. Select the Move tool and click on the layer, and you can move that moon into the position that you would like it. Use the arrow keys to do any kind of fine-tuning. Continue for each image and place them in the sequence they were shot. You can do a rough estimate of space between the moons. It helps to have the layer window open, seen in the lower right-hand corner. If you want to move a specific moon, click on that layer and use the arrow keys to adjust the position of the moon. Unselect the grid to see the final composite. If it is too wide, you can crop from the left and the right side. If you are satisfied with the composite, I recommend saving a file with all these layers in case you want to go back and make any adjustments. You can save this as a TIFF or a Photoshop PSD file. The file will be large. If you look over to the info box, it's just over 1 gigabyte. When you save the layers as a TIFF file, an option window will open. You can choose LZW compression, which is a lossless compression, and will save some space on your hard drive. A second window will alert you that layers will increase the file size, which you have seen. To make an easier version that is easier to send or post, go to Layer, Flatten Image. That will combine all the layers into one. As you can see, the Layers box on the lower right-hand side now has one layer called Background. So that now that you are at the original size of the background file. So this can be resized, cropped, and saved as a TIFF or JPEG. And that's how to make a lunar eclipse telephoto composite.